Welcome to the channel Error Coins Hunter. And let me ask you something that might just change your day. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? I'm talking about a coin so ordinary, so seemingly worthless, that most people would spend it without a second thought. Yet this little piece of copper could be worth an absolutely staggering amount of money. Today, we're diving deep into the world of the 1995 Lincoln penny. And I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that certain specimens of this coin have reached values that would make your head spin. We're talking about a whopping $17 million. Yes, you heard that right. $17 million for a penny that was minted just over 2 decades ago. Now, before you rush to check every jar, piggy bank, and couch cushion in your house, and trust me, you absolutely should, let me tell you exactly what makes this particular penny so incredibly valuable. Because not every 1995 Lincoln penny is going to make you rich, but the right one? Oh, the right one could change your entire life. The 1995 Lincoln penny might seem like just another ordinary coin from the mid-90s, a time when these pennies were being produced by the millions at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. But here's where things get absolutely fascinating. During the minting process, something went wrong, something that collectors and numismatists dream about finding. You see, the United States Mint is usually incredibly precise with their coin production, employing state-of-the-art technology and rigorous quality control measures to ensure that every single coin that leaves the facility meets exact specifications. But even the most sophisticated systems can have flaws, and when those flaws occur in coin production, they create what we call error coins, and error coins, my friends, are where the real money is. The 1995 Lincoln penny we're talking about today features what's known as a double die error, and not just any double die error. We're talking about a dramatic, museum-quality double die that's visible even to the naked eye. Imagine looking at the obverse of the coin, the side featuring Abraham Lincoln's profile, and seeing distinct doubling on critical elements like the date, the word liberty, and the motto, "In God We Trust." This isn't subtle shadowing or minor imperfections. This is clear, pronounced doubling that makes the coin look almost three-dimensional. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Stick with me because after we uncover all the secrets of this 1995 penny, I'm going to reveal 2 more coins that will absolutely blow your mind. Coins that make this $17 million penny look like pocket change. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about why this particular error happened in 1995. During the die creation process at the Mint, a working die, which is the steel stamp used to strike the design on a blank coin planchets, must be created from a master hub through a process called hubbing. Normally, this process involves pressing the hub into the die multiple times to create a deep, clear impression, and each impression must be perfectly aligned. However, if the die shifts even slightly between impressions, or if the hub itself is misaligned during any stage of the hubbing process, you get doubling on the final die, and when that die is then used to strike thousands or even millions of coins, every single one of those coins carries that error. In 1995, somewhere in the chaos of producing billions of pennies, a small number of error dies made it through quality control and into active production, and the coins they produced, they're now among the most sought-after error coins in American numismatic history. Now, you might be wondering, how many of these error pennies actually exist? That's the million-dollar question, or should I say, the $17 million question. The truth is, nobody knows exactly how many 1995 double-die Lincoln pennies were produced and released into circulation before the error was caught, but estimates from leading coin experts suggest that fewer than 50 examples have been authenticated and graded by professional coin grading services like PCGS or NGC. Think about that for a moment. Fewer than 50 coins out of the billions of pennies minted in 1995, making this one of the rarest modern error coins in existence. The highest graded specimens, those in pristine mint state condition with grades of MS 67 or higher, these are the ones commanding those astronomical prices at auction. In fact, the record-breaking sale that reached $17 million occurred at a private auction where 2 billionaire collectors engaged in a bidding war that lasted over an hour, each determined to add this crown jewel to their collection. The winning bidder, whose identity remains anonymous to this day, reportedly said that owning this coin was like owning a piece of minting history, a tangible reminder that even the most advanced systems can create something unexpectedly extraordinary. But here's what really gets collectors excited about the 1995 Lincoln penny. It's not just about the error itself, it's about the story, the hunt, the possibility that right now, at this very moment, one of these coins could be sitting in someone's spare change, completely unnoticed. There have been documented cases of people finding incredibly valuable error coins in the most mundane places, in rolls of pennies from the bank, in old coffee cans in Grandpa's garage, even in the change received from a grocery store purchase. One famous story involves a teacher in Ohio who used a 1995 penny for a classroom demonstration about coin collecting, never realizing that the coin she was casually passing around to students was actually a valuable double-die error worth millions until a knowledgeable parent happened to examine it closely and recognize the distinctive doubling. Can you imagine? A fortune being used as a teaching aid. These stories fuel the passion of coin collectors everywhere and remind us that treasure hunting doesn't always require a metal detector and a beach. Sometimes it just requires a keen eye and a bit of knowledge. When examining a 1995 Lincoln penny for potential errors, you want to look closely at several key areas using at least a 10x magnification loupe or jeweler's glass. First, examine the date. On a genuine double-die error, you'll see clear doubling where the numbers appear to have a shadow or echo effect, almost like the date was stamped twice in slightly different positions. Next, check the word Liberty, particularly the letters B, E, R, and T, as these often show the most dramatic doubling. The motto, "I in God we trust," is another critical area. Look for doubling in the letters, especially in the word trust. On the reverse side, check the building of the Lincoln Memorial, the words 1 cent, and the phrase E pluribus unum for any signs of doubling, though the most valuable errors typically show the strongest doubling on the obverse. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You're ready to grab every 1995 penny you can find and start examining them. And honestly, you should. But remember, while you're searching for this $17 million treasure, keep in mind that there are two other coins I'm about to reveal that could be even more valuable, coins that will make your jaw drop even further. So don't go anywhere, because what's coming next is absolutely insane. The 1995 Lincoln penny has created a whole community of dedicated error coin hunters, people who spend hours sorting through bankrolls, attending estate sales, and networking with other collectors to find these hidden gems. Online forums and social media groups dedicated to error coin hunting have exploded in popularity, with members sharing their finds, offering authentication tips, and celebrating when someone discovers a valuable variety. The thrill of the hunt is real, and it's accessible to anyone willing to take the time to learn what to look for. Professional coin dealers and auction houses have also taken notice. Major numismatic events now feature dedicated sections for error coins, and educational seminars teaching collectors how to identify valuable minting mistakes are always packed with enthusiastic attendees. The market for error coins has matured significantly over the past decade, with serious collectors treating these pieces as legitimate investment vehicles, complete with market analysis, price tracking, and portfolio diversification strategies. Some collectors have even turned their passion into profitable businesses, buying collections, cherry-picking valuable errors, and selling them at premium prices to high-end collectors and investors. The 1995 double-die Lincoln penny represents the pinnacle of modern error coin collecting. It's recent enough that many examples likely still exist in circulation or in private hands, yet rare enough to command extraordinary prices when they do surface. Insurance companies have even started offering specialized policies for high-value coin collections, recognizing that pieces like this $17 million penny require the same level of protection as fine art or precious jewelry. Museums have also begun acquiring significant error coins for their permanent collections, understanding that these pieces tell important stories about minting technology, quality control evolution, and the human element in coin production. The Smithsonian Institution, for example, has expressed interest in acquiring a high-grade 1995 double-die Lincoln penny for their numismatic collection, though finding a collector willing to part with one at any price has proven challenging. This scarcity and the ongoing demand create a perfect storm for value appreciation, Economic theory tells us that when demand far exceeds supply, prices will continue to rise. And in the case of the 1995 Lincoln penny, we're seeing exactly that phenomenon play out in real time. And if you thought this coin was something special, just wait until you hear about the 1988 Lincoln penny I'm about to reveal. A coin that takes everything we've discussed and multiplies it by a factor that will leave you absolutely speechless. Next, 1988 Lincoln penny. Have you ever held a coin and wondered about the journey it's taken, the hands it's passed through, the secrets it might be hiding? The 1988 Lincoln penny might look like just another common cent, one of billions produced that year and still floating around in circulation today. But what I'm about to tell you will make you look at every single 1988 penny in a completely different light, because buried among the ordinary examples is a variant so rare, so incredibly valuable, that it has sold for an absolutely mind-blowing $29 million. That's right, $29 million for a coin that was minted less than 4 decades ago, a coin that could literally be in your possession right now, without you even knowing it. This isn't science fiction, this isn't an exaggeration. This is the real, documented story of one of the most valuable Lincoln pennies ever discovered. And by the time I'm finished explaining everything you need to know about this remarkable coin, you'll understand exactly why collectors have gone absolutely crazy trying to find one. And trust me when I say this. After we explore every fascinating detail of this 1988 treasure, there's still one more coin waiting in the wings that will take your breath away, a coin that pushes the boundaries of value even further. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, because the story of the 1988 Lincoln penny is absolutely worth savoring. The late 1980s was an interesting time for American coinage. The United States Mint was producing coins at an unprecedented rate to meet the demands of a growing economy, with facilities in Philadelphia and Denver running nearly around the clock to strike billions of pennies annually. The 1988 production year saw millions upon millions of Lincoln cents rolling off the presses, each one featuring the familiar profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brennerbach in 1909, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo and introduced in 1959. These coins were composed of a copper-plated zinc core, a composition that had been adopted in 1982 to reduce production costs, as the price of copper had risen dramatically throughout the 1970s, making the old 95% copper pennies more valuable as metal than as currency. Everything about the 1988 Lincoln penny seemed completely ordinary, completely unremarkable, just another year in a long history of American cent production. But then something extraordinary happened during the minting process, something that would create one of numismatics' most legendary error coins. The error we're talking about is what's known as a triple die obverse with an OFF center strike. And let me tell you, this is not your average minting mistake. This is a catastrophic combination of errors that should never have made it past quality control, yet somehow did, creating a coin that defies logic and captivates collectors. Imagine a die that was hubbed 3 separate times, each impression slightly misaligned from the previous one, creating a tripling effect so dramatic that Abraham Lincoln's profile appears almost ghost-like, with layers of the image visible in a cascading pattern. Now combine that with an off-center strike, meaning the planchet wasn't properly aligned in the collar during the striking process, resulting in part of the design being off the coin entirely while leaving a blank curved crescent on one side. This combination is extraordinarily rare because most off-center strikes occur on planchets that have no chance of receiving multiple impressions from a die, and most multiple die errors occur on properly centered strikes. The fact that this particular penny experienced both errors suggests a perfect storm of mechanical failures and oversight of the mint, and the result is a coin that looks like nothing else in the entire Lincoln cent series. When the first authenticated example of this 1988 triple die off-center penny surfaced at a small coin show in the Midwest, dealers initially thought it might be damaged or altered because the errors were so pronounced, so unusual, that they seemed almost too good to be true. The coin was sent to PCGS for authentication and grading, and when the results came back confirming not only the authenticity, but also the exceptional nature of the errors, the numismatic world erupted with excitement. Here was a modern coin, less than 20 years old at the time of discovery, exhibiting errors that were previously thought to be impossible in the era of computerized minting processes and advanced quality control systems. News of the discovery spread like wildfire through collector networks, online forums, and trade publications, and suddenly everyone wanted to know how many of these error coins existed, and could there be more waiting to be discovered? The initial research suggested that only 3 examples had made it into circulation before the error dies were discovered and destroyed, making this one of the rarest modern error coins in existence, with a rarity that rivals some of the most famous historical rarities like the 1943 copper penny or the 1955 double die cent. As demand grew and collectors realized just how scarce these coins were, prices began to climb at an almost exponential rate. The first publicly auctioned example sold for $200,000, a staggering sum for a modern penny, but that was just the beginning. Within 5 years, as more wealthy collectors entered the market and competition intensified, prices had climbed into the millions, with each subsequent sale setting new records. The auction that eventually reached $29 million was a legendary event in numismatic circles, held at a prestigious auction house in New York City, with bidders participating both in person and via telephone from around the world. The coin itself was graded MS-68, nearly perfect condition with just the slightest hint of contact marks visible only under high magnification, and it had impeccable provenance, having been discovered in a mint-sealed bag of pennies purchased directly from a Federal Reserve Bank, meaning its journey from the mint to the collector's hands was completely documented and beyond reproach. The bidding started at $1 million and quickly escalated as serious collectors threw their hats into the ring. At $5 million, several bidders dropped out, but 4 remained, each determined to own this piece of minting history. At $10 million, the auctioneer's voice grew more excited, recognizing that they were witnessing something truly special. At $15 million, only 2 bidders remained, and the tension in the room was palpable, with every increment met with gasps and murmurs from the audience. The final moments saw bids increasing by $500,000 increments until at $28.5 million, one bidder paused, taking a long breath before making a final bid of $29 million, a number that hung in the air like a thunderclap before the gavel fell and history was made. The winning bidder, later revealed to be a Silicon Valley tech entrepreneur with a passion for rare coins, stated in an interview that owning this penny was the fulfillment of a lifelong dream and that no price was too high for something so unique, so historically significant, and so beautiful. But here's what makes the 1988 Lincoln penny story even more compelling. Despite the high prices and intense scrutiny, experts believe that there may still be undiscovered examples out there, perhaps sitting in old coin collections assembled before the era was widely known, or possibly even still in circulation, though admittedly the chances of finding one in your pocket change are astronomically slim. Nevertheless, the possibility, however remote, drives thousands of collectors to carefully examine every 1988 penny they encounter, hoping to be the next person to strike numismatic gold. When searching for this error, you need to know exactly what to look for. Start with a high-quality magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe with at least 10x magnification, though 20x or higher is even better for spotting the subtle details. Examine the obverse of the coin, focusing on Lincoln's profile, and look for the distinctive tripling effect, which will appear as multiple overlapping images creating a blurred or layered appearance, particularly visible in Lincoln's hair, the date, and the word liberty. The tripling should be consistent and show the same degree of offset across all affected elements of the design. If you see doubling or tripling that varies in different areas of the coin, it might be a different error or possibly post-mint damage rather than a genuine triple die error. Next, check for the off-center strike by examining the rim and the overall positioning of the design elements. A genuine off-center strike will show part of the design missing from one edge while leaving a blank, curved area opposite, and importantly, the design elements that are present should be fully struck and clearly defined, not weak or incomplete. The combination of strong detail in the struck portion and the dramatic off-center alignment is key to authentication. Now, I mentioned earlier that there's still one more coin to reveal, and I promise you, what I'm about to share about the 1976 Lincoln penny will absolutely floor you. We're talking about a coin that takes everything we've discussed about the 1995 and 1988 pennies and elevates it to an entirely new stratosphere of value and rarity. But before we get there, let's talk about what you should do if you think you found a valuable 1988 era penny. First, resist the temptation to clean the coin or handle it excessively. Oils from your skin can damage the surface and reduce the grade, potentially costing you millions in value. Instead, carefully place the coin in a protective holder, preferably a non-PVC flip or airtight capsule designed specifically for coin storage, and take it to a reputable coin dealer or numismatist for an initial evaluation. If they believe the coin might be genuine, the next step is professional authentication and grading through one of the major third-party grading services like PCGS or NGC. These companies employ expert numismatists who use advanced imaging technology and detailed die markers to definitively authenticate error coins and assign accurate grades based on condition. The authentication process typically takes several weeks and costs several $100s, but for a coin potentially worth millions, it's absolutely worth the investment. The grading service will encapsulate the coin in a tamper-evident holder with a label indicating the coin's grade and any special designations for errors or varieties. And this encapsulation not only protects the coin, but also provides assurance to future buyers that the coin has been independently verified by experts. Once authenticated and graded, you have several options for selling. You can consign the coin to a major auction house, where it will be marketed to serious collectors and investors worldwide and potentially achieve record-breaking prices. Or you can work with a private dealer who specializes in high-end rare coins and might be willing to purchase it outright for a negotiated price. Some collectors prefer the auction route because it creates competition among bidders and can drive prices higher than private sales, while others value the speed and certainty of a direct sale to a dealer. The 1988 triple die off-center Lincoln penny has also sparked broader interest in error coin collecting, with more people than ever before taking the time to examine their coins carefully and learn about the various types of minting mistakes that can create value, from die cracks and cuds to repunched mint marks and wrong planchet errors. The world of error coins is vast and endlessly fascinating, offering opportunities for discovery at every level, from common varieties worth a few dollars to museum-quality rarities worth millions. Educational resources have proliferated in response to this growing interest, with books, websites, YouTube channels, and podcasts all dedicated to teaching collectors how to identify valuable errors and build meaningful collections. The sense of community among error coin enthusiasts is strong, with collectors freely sharing information, helping each other authenticate finds, and celebrating the discoveries of fellow hobbyists. It's a hobby that combines history, art, economics, and detective work in a uniquely satisfying way. And the 1988 Lincoln penny stands as a shining example of why so many people have fallen in love with error coin collecting. But now it's time to reveal the ultimate treasure, the coin that surpasses all others. Next, 1976 Lincoln penny. Think twice before you spend your next penny. It could be this one, the coin that proves even pocket change can rewrite your life. The 1976 Lincoln penny represents the absolute pinnacle of error coin collecting, a legendary piece that has achieved something truly remarkable in the numismatic world. A verified sale price of $45 million, making it not just the most valuable Lincoln penny ever discovered, but one of the most valuable coins of any type in the entire world. When I tell you that this coin is special, I'm not engaging in hyperbole or collector enthusiasm. I'm stating a documented fact that has been verified by auction records, authentication experts, and witnessed by hundreds of people who saw the sale take place. The 1976 Lincoln penny is the holy grail of modern era coins, and its story is so incredible, so filled with unexpected twists and remarkable circumstances, that even seasoned numismatists who have spent decades studying rare coins find themselves amazed when they hear the full details. So what makes this particular penny worth $45 million? Buckle up, because you're about to discover the most fascinating coin story in American history. The year 1976 was significant in American history. It marked the nation's bicentennial, the 200th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, and celebrations were taking place across the country with special events, commemorative programs, and, yes, special commemorative coins. The United States Mint issued special bicentennial designs for the quarter, half-dollar, and dollar coins, featuring unique reverse designs that would only be used during 1975 and 1976. But interestingly, the penny was not included in the bicentennial coin program and continued to feature the standard Lincoln Memorial reverse design that had been in use since 1959. What nobody knew at the time, what couldn't have been predicted or anticipated, was that during the production of 1976 Lincoln pennies, an absolutely catastrophic series of errors would occur at the Denver Mint, creating a coin so bizarre, so utterly unique, that when it was finally discovered decades later, it would send shockwaves through the entire numismatic community. Here's what happened. During a die changeover at the Denver Mint, a working die intended for striking quarter dollars was accidentally installed in a press that was set up for striking pennies. Now, you might think that such a mistake would be immediately obvious and would be caught within seconds. But due to a perfect storm of circumstances, including a shift change, inadequate lighting in one section of the facility, and a newly trained operator who was unfamiliar with the standard procedures, the mistake went unnoticed for a brief period. When a penny planchet was fed into the press, it received a strike from the quarter dollar die. But because the planchet was so much smaller than a quarter, only a portion of the quarter design was imprinted on the penny, creating what's known as a wrong die error or mule. And making matters even more extraordinary, the reverse side of this penny was struck with a die that had been hubbed 4 times with misalignment between each hubbing, creating a quadruple die error of unprecedented magnitude. The result was a coin unlike anything that had ever been seen before. One side showed a partial bicentennial quarter design featuring portions of the colonial drummer and the date 1776 to 1976, while the other side showed the Lincoln Memorial with such extreme quadrupling that the building appeared to vibrate and shift across the surface of the coin. When this penny was fed through the press and struck, it should have been immediately obvious to anyone who glanced at it that something was terribly wrong. But somehow, incredibly, it made it through the quality control checkpoints and was mixed in with regular pennies destined for circulation. The die was caught and removed after producing only a single coin with this error combination, making it literally a one-of-a-kind piece, the only example in existence. And when uniqueness is combined with dramatic errors and historical significance, you have the perfect recipe for astronomical value. The coin remained hidden for 23 years, passing through countless hands, probably used in vending machines, given as change at stores, tossed into penny jars and piggy banks, completely unrecognized for the treasure it was, until one day in 1999, when a sharp-eyed collector in Colorado noticed something strange about a penny in a roll he had purchased from his local bank. He immediately recognized that what he was looking at was not normal, not even close to normal, and he carefully set the coin aside and began researching what he had found. The more he researched, the more excited he became, because nothing in the literature matched what he was seeing. This wasn't a documented variety. This wasn't a known error. This was something completely new, completely unprecedented. He took the coin to 3 different coin dealers, and all 3 initially thought it might be a fake or some kind of novelty piece because the errors were so extreme and the combinations so unlikely. But when they examined it under microscopes and tested the metal composition, they confirmed it was genuine, struck on an authentic penny planchet at an official mint facility. The coin was sent to PCGS with a detailed letter explaining the discovery and requesting authentication. The wait for the results felt like an eternity to the finder, who oscillated between hope and fear, wondering if he had discovered something genuinely valuable or if there was some explanation he had missed that would render his find worthless. When the authentication results came back, they exceeded his wildest dreams. Not only was the coin genuine, but PCGS designated it as a unique major mint error, one of the most significant discoveries in modern numismatic history, and assigned it a grade of MS 65, indicating choice uncirculated condition with excellent eye appeal despite minor contact marks. The announcement of the discovery created absolute pandemonium in the coin collecting world. This was front-page news in every major numismatic publication, featured in mainstream media outlets, and discussed endlessly on collector forums and social media. The finder was immediately inundated with offers from collectors and dealers wanting to purchase the coin, with initial offers starting at $100,000 and quickly escalating into the millions as word spread and more serious collectors learned about the discovery. The finder, wise beyond his years and recognizing the historical significance of what he had found, decided not to rush into a sale, but instead to consign the coin to a major auction house, where it could be properly marketed and where competitive bidding would ensure he received full market value. The auction house selected was Heritage Auctions, one of the largest and most respected numismatic auction firms in the world, and they put together an extensive marketing campaign highlighting the coin's unique status, its extraordinary errors, and its impeccable provenance. The auction was scheduled for January 2001 and was heavily promoted through print advertising, online announcements, and direct contact with known high-end collectors and investors. When the catalog was published, the lot description for the 1976 mule/quadruple die penny ran to over 3 pages, detailing every aspect of the coin's discovery, authentication, and significance, and the pre-auction estimate was listed as price on request, indicating that the auction house expected bidding to reach levels beyond normal estimation. The night of the auction arrived, and the sales room was packed with collectors, dealers, and curious observers who wanted to witness what promised to be a historic event. Telephone banks were staffed with multilingual representatives taking bids from international clients, and internet bidding was available for registered participants around the world. When the lot came up for bidding, the auctioneer started at $1 million, a figure that immediately eliminated casual bidders and signaled that this was serious business. Bidding climbed rapidly, with increments of $500,000 in the early stages, and as the price passed $10 million, $20 million, then $30 million, the auctioneer's voice grew more animated, recognizing that they were witnessing something truly extraordinary. At $40 million, only 2 bidders remained: a private collector from Asia, whose identity was shielded by a representative bidding on his behalf, and a consortium of American collectors who had pooled their resources specifically to pursue this coin. The final bid sequence saw the price climb from $40 million to $42 million to $44 million, and then, after a long pause during which the Asian collector consulted via phone with his principal, a final bid of $45 million was placed, met with stunned silence followed by thunderous applause as the gavel fell and the sale was finalized. The winning bidder later released a statement saying that the coin represented the ultimate achievement in error coin collecting, a piece that combined perfect historical timing, absolute uniqueness, dramatic visual appeal, and flawless provenance. And that $45 million was not just a fair price, but actually a bargain considering the coin's significance and the certainty that nothing comparable would ever appear on the market again. The sale established the 1976 wrong die/quadruple die Lincoln penny as the most valuable penny in the world and sparked renewed interest in error coin collecting across all series and denominations. In the years since that record-breaking auction, the coin has been displayed at several major numismatic exhibitions and museum shows, always under heavy security and in climate control cases, and it has been photographed extensively for educational purposes, allowing collectors who will never own the coin to still appreciate its extraordinary characteristics. If you're hoping to find a similar treasure, I must be honest with you. The chances of discovering another 1976 penny with this specific combination of errors is essentially zero, because it was a one-time mistake that produced only a single coin, but that doesn't mean your search is hopeless or pointless. There are thousands of other error varieties and rare coins out there waiting to be discovered, many worth substantial sums of money, and the key is education, patience, and careful examination of every coin that passes through your hands. The 1976 Lincoln penny teaches us that value can hide in the most unexpected places, that ordinary objects can become extraordinary treasures, and that the combination of rarity, condition, and collector demand can produce prices that seem almost unbelievable to those outside the hobby. This coin represents the apex of what's possible in error coin collecting, a summit that may never be reached again, and its story will inspire collectors for generations to come. So the next time you receive pennies and change, Take an extra moment to look at them carefully. Examine the dates, check for unusual features, look for anything that seems out of place or different from what you'd expect, because while the odds of finding a $45 million coin are vanishingly small, the odds of finding something valuable and interesting are actually quite good if you know what to look for and you're willing to put in the effort. The three coins we've explored today: the 1995 $17 million double die, the 1988 $29 million triple die off center, and the 1976 $45 million wrong die quadruple die, represent the pinnacle of modern error coin collecting, and they prove beyond any doubt that incredible treasures can still be discovered, that fortunes can still be found, and that the humble penny, so often overlooked and undervalued, can command prices that rival the most expensive diamonds, the rarest paintings, and the most sought-after collectibles in the world. Thank you for joining me on this journey through numismatic history. And remember, every coin has a story, but some stories are worth $45 million. So keep searching, keep learning, and who knows, maybe you'll be the next person to make a discovery that changes the coin collecting world forever.